Welcome to Life is a Metaphor mini podcast, where we explore the many metaphors that life has to offer.
Have you ever noticed how many people are really fixated with making their mark on the world or doing something big or having everyone value them? We don't typically think of this as something weird or bad because it's kind of related to something that we all share, which is to be of value or want to be valued, because of course we are of value. So of course we want others to recognize that. But the reason I use the word fixation is because there's definitely this other level that it tends to get taken to, and that it's kind of accepted that it gets taken to, and it bothers me a little bit. Like, I don't really enjoy that in people. It seems a little off to me because it seems a little imbalanced. And actually, I'm going to liken it to an addiction, which I'm sure will immediately elicit some eye rolls. Because, and it should, I guess, if you're defining addiction as, it's something that's got complete control of you and you're crazed and it's horribly wrecking your life and you can't stop it, and, all these sort of dramatic and traumatic things that we usually associate with addiction, then it doesn't fit that. And if you've listened to my other episode, Depth of Connection, that's also got to do with this type of thing, addiction could also just be a need for more depth and connection, a wound, something that was missing, just simply, I need more depth in my connections. And then, then we can use this term. Then we can sort of talk about, okay, these people that are fixated on success or doing something big and they're workaholics, or even people who are fixated on love or relationships or finding the right relationship or being with their dream person, or any of these types of things that people can get really fixated on. And you can feel, it's a really subtle thing, but you can kind of feel the level of desperation when it is like a fixation. Because, it makes sense why it would get to that level, because what it is a wound. I have a wound. I have an emptiness. I have a lack of connection. I have something that didn't happen in childhood, whatever, and I am desperately trying to get it filled with this thing. And they're healthy, so we wouldn't, typically call them addictions. They're kind of healthy or healthier than all the other things that people could try to fill that vacancy with. Certainly, doing something great and huge in the world is not going to generally be a bad idea. And so if you're going to fixate on something, or if you're going to desperately try to fill that wound, then all right, that doesn't seem like a horrible idea. But I guess I just like to be aware of these like nuances, because honestly, I explore it in my own self. I would like to be of value. And I've asked myself about that, or a friend even pointed out that, have you ever noticed the people that had the crappiest parents that treated them like, they were totally a piece of crap, and that, they were, worthless. They're the ones that are most driven to do something great in the world. And she was just kind of making that comment, and it was like, just really connecting the fact that there's like a wound there, and that it creates great drive. And that can be a beautiful thing. It has been a beautiful thing for all the people that have achieved their goal of doing something amazing and great. They did have parents that treated them horribly and worthless. And so they were striving to show or prove their value to the world. Like, great things have been done that way. But I just like to be aware of those things, especially, like I said, looking at my own self and asking myself, like, oh, okay, so is my need to be valuable, is it frenzied? Is it coming from a place of desperation? Or, just to make sure, just to know, like, what's that energy behind it? And not to even say that I could, I guess you could choose to calm it down or whatever, but I'm saying, when you're looking at it like that, like a wound that somebody is just really trying to fill a place that was empty in their life, I think looking at it like addiction could be helpful, because maybe my answer need to feel more valuable because my parents never noticed me or something like that. If that's my wound, maybe I just need to deepen my connections. Just deepen my connections, because that's what the answer is to addiction. Or at least that is the way it is looking with all the different studies that are being done about it. And I don't mean to make it sound simplistic, because it is certainly not. But maybe that's my directive, instead of like, well, then I need to do something big. I'm going to prove myself. The whole world will value me or something. Deepen my connections. You can still, try to contribute to the world, but it would almost be better to be contributing to the world from a place of deep and rich connection with yourself and with others. And you've got that covered. You're not at a deficit there, because then the frenzy dies down. Then you're not as desperate. Then it's not about frantically trying to fill a void or a wound, and it's not got that desperation behind it anymore. Instead, it's like true service. You can just do something for the world. Or if you are thinking that the relationship, finding the person of your dreams, or being in a great relationship is going to patch that wound, like that is the thing in your life that's missing, and you probably aren't consciously thinking that. I mean, if you're consciously thinking that, you could easily stop yourself and be like, whoops, this is probably not good. But it's going to be that really unconscious thing. Like, does it feel like your life will be finally what it should be when you find this person? Because if that's the thing behind it, then yeah, there's some frenzy there, because you're thinking that you'll finally be healed. The wound will finally be managed. You will finally be okay. Life will finally begin. Because that puts it in that place of being able to soothe what it is that is so unsoothed in there, that is so painful. Or, you're putting it in the place of the solution. It is kind of the solution to what feels incomplete and empty in me. I need to be with a person, if only I could, or if I could find the right one, or even if it's about like being cherished. I need this person to cherish me. If I could, find the right person, and if they would think I was great, and if they would love me so much, and if I would finally be cherished like I've never been cherished before, and somebody would value me, and they would know what I'm worth, and that would be great, because then I would be okay. Or then that wound that happened to me before, when my parents didn't cherish me, would dissolve. It would get reversed. And to some degree, it's certainly possible to heal wounds, but not necessarily reverse them. And certainly not like that, in that sort of frenzied state. I mean, and I'm using this example of the relationship too, because people can kind of be addicted to relationships. But in some ways, if you just seek to deepen your connections in the relationship, in a relationship, any relationship though, doesn't have to be like the one, then yeah, that can be very healing. And it can feel like it's reversed the wound. It hasn't exactly done that, but yeah, that's where the healing comes. But often there's like this subtle difference, people aren't just looking to deepen connection. That's not the real directive. Instead, they're looking to like be cherished or be accepted, or, finally have some fun, or, just be in a relationship, say that they have like found the most amazing person that fits all these boxes that they can be proud of, or something, Instead, it's this slightly different directive that makes a pretty big difference, because then the emphasis is more on, trying to heal that wound by, by overlooking what the wound actually is. And the wound actually is just, I need more depth of connection. That's what creates an addiction. That's what creates the need to soothe anyway, So it's kind of overlooking like, what is the pain that I'm trying to soothe? What is the deal? And hitting it direct. Okay, depth of connection. I need more depth of connection. And it gives you a lot more possibilities too, right? I mean, if depth of connection is what needs to happen when you're feeling that frenzy or that need to soothe, or when you're feeling the pain, well, you've got options, lots of options to find further depth of connection with yourself, with the people that are already in your life. And it doesn't have to be like you're on the search for the Holy Grail to find this like one person that will cherish you enough and that has all the right credentials that you think they're your dream person. And so it's probably just like a way better way to approach it, because you have a lot more potential solutions there, a lot more potential ways to soothe yourself. So it just like sets you up in a healthier, safer way. And your directive is on point, because, you know, when you are with those people, or even if you happen to meet a person that could be a dream person, you know, you have the directive on point that you are seeking to deepen connection. Like, yes, I'd like to go deeper with you. I'd like to go deeper with myself at every moment. And every time things start to bubble up, and every time my wounds show their face, and every time I'm feeling the need to soothe, like, my directive is on point. It's like, I'm going to go deeper in connection with these people here in front of me. Let's go deeper. And, you know, whether that person is a potential partner or not. But I just feel like it puts you in a much better, it's like, you know, your aim is on point. And so you are, I don't know, just more, there's more awareness, more sight. It's like better in your sights, you know? And so you can really get closer to your target and not just kind of be in this crazy frenzy that's more like addiction, to soothe things with the wrong item, wrong ointment.
Thank you so much for listening. I've always loved playing with ideas, but usually they just aren't at all what others come up with. So that has made me feel weird for most of my life. But now I'm determined to take what makes me weird and to try to make it useful. So come and check out all the other podcasts and things that we've got going on at weirdisuseful.com.